Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I am here to talk about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. Well, you guys, we continue on this dramatic, fun train that the Real Housewives of Potomac is giving us. I always say this, but this franchise to me consistently delivers and this season is no different. I know it's a lot of stuff that we're not crazy about with the violence and there's a lot of other issues kind of under the surface, but it's definitely keeping me tuning in every week because I just love these characters and I love seeing where they go every single week. I think I've told you guys before that when I cover Potomac, usually those videos get a lot less views, which I'm totally fine with, but it's just interesting to see. But as of lately, since the most recent episode with Mia and Wendy and that whole situation, the views are definitely up. So people are definitely watching this franchise, which makes me so happy because I really, really love this franchise. Do I need to say it again? Today, I'm gonna be covering a short scene from the most recent episode where Candiace shows up at the house. I thought it was really interesting as far as editing goes, so let's just jump right into it.
You're not on the 8:30 flight.
No, we canceled that.
Where's Candiace?
Doug.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to point out is, instead of just cutting to Candiace, they have Ashley ask the question, where's Candiace? And then they cut to Candiace where she is, and you can hear the music come in. That music cue is so funny to me. It actually kind of reminds me of like Home Alone. Do you guys, okay, just stay with me here. When the robbers are coming over for the first time before they get like the first set of traps, it's got that feel to it. You guys are gonna call me crazy. Hopefully I can cut in something that won't make me seem crazy. It's kind of comical, it's very light. So the thing with music is that music can kind of cue you on how to feel. So if the music is nice and light and kind of has this little curious feel while she's putting her makeup on, it kind of allows the audience to relax and be like, okay, we're along for a ride, but it's not gonna get too heavy. When you don't have music in there, or if the cue is a little bit more ominous or, suspenseful or whatever, we can tend to get like tense, like, ooh, what's coming? But this music cue kind of puts us at ease.
These girls have already built mountains of drama. I'm like arriving, ready to do shots, ready to kiki.
Hi. So that is actually the crux of the whole thing. So it's got that sort of light feel to it because that's where her head was at. That's what she's telling us right now. My head was at, let's do some shots and let's have some fun. And I'm walking into a hurricane. It's very contrasting, like where she's at and where the crowd is at.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, this is nice. Are you okay?
Come on in. Oh, what is going on? Come on in. Let's get comfortable.
Okay, so why I really wanted to cover this moment overall is that I thought it was interesting that they didn't have this scene actually in the episode, like in order. As far as their trip goes, last night is when the Mia and Wendy situation went down. They didn't just have, the opening scene of this episode be Candiace walking into this night and everything and having Robyn fill her in. Instead, they did it with this sort of flashback thing. My guess is that that just wasn't a compelling enough scene for the next piece of the narrative after that big fight. So using it in flashback was the way to go. And it really kind of works in this whole thing. And it kind of brings Candiace in with a fun, kind of light tone to it, like you can hear in the music. I want you guys to see that when they're doing these flashbacks, you can see they faded the color a little bit. It's definitely more faded than when it's just a normal, like full color image.
And we are talking about melee.
Mia's friends with Peter. Okay. Yeah, apparently like Wendy and Peter have been interacting on Mia.
And I also love how when they put like the Chiron with the actual timestamp, they make the timestamp so specific, like 11:08 p.m. It's almost like we're in a suspense or true crime type show where, the time really matters down to the minute, down to the second. To me, it's a wink at the audience. Like it's not just because they're taking themselves too seriously. It's kind of a wink at us like, oh yeah, this situation that is so serious, which it is, obviously the violence is serious, but I've seen them do this with other stuff that's way lighter than this.
Peter said he has like some beef with you, but it turns into But Mia picked up her drink and threw her drink at Wendy.
Okay, so now Robyn gets into telling Candiace what exactly happened. They could have flashed to what actually happened at the table, but remember, we are here in a flashback already. So flashbacks on flashbacks on flashbacks would be a lot. Not to mention, we are now kind of in Candiace's world. We've seen this all go down. We've seen some flashbacks already when we've been with the other ladies, but now we're in Candiace's world where she's just discovering this, right? So there's no real flashback to be had unless we're kind of flashing back to Robyn's brain. But the cool thing is, instead of doing the flashback on flashback, they actually have Robyn's footage on her phone. So she's able to pull her phone out and do it like that.
Drink a Wendy. I was like, I'm going to try to record as much as I can. Oh yeah, Wendy started saying, Wendy, no! It was a lot.
Okay, so they kept in this part where Candiace says, Wendy, no! I just thought it was interesting that they had that in there because it's like, yes, Robyn didn't have the drink throwing moment on camera, so you couldn't have Candiace saying Mia no. But they did include this kind of Wendy, no stuff, even though you can tell, and it gets into it further in the episode, that Candiace is definitely not like siding with Mia in any sort of way. But there is the fact that they left that in there. If you weren't watching close enough or you weren't like skeptical of this whole situation already, it's just feeding the audience one more line that bolsters the side that Wendy was in the wrong here. It's also got a feel of like Candiace being on Wendy's side, like don't go as low as her type of feel.
Wendy was being very angry, but if somebody throws a drink on me, then you want me to take your edges with me to my house.
Apparently, Wendy's leaving.
Okay.
Mia.
So of course Candiace is being so funny. She's always got those funny one-liners. And then she kind of goes into, taking up for Wendy, which I think as an audience, we can really kind of relate to. Although the example she uses is talking about violence again.
If somebody throws a drink on me, then you want me to take your edges with me to my house.
But it is really funny that she's saying that basically about Wendy, like, yeah, you throw a drink at me, I'm going to run my mouth and I'm going to do all of the things. It is kind of providing a different perspective to us because a lot of the perspective so far has been, Giselle and Robyn have been really pro, Mia in this whole situation. Obviously, Jacqueline is really pro Mia. And then you have Karen, who's kind of in the middle. You have Ashley, who's, taking up for Wendy, but like doing it kind of like lightly. So here Candiace comes in and she's taking up for her a little bit more strong. We definitely needed that to sort of balance out this whole situation.
Wendy's leaving.
Mia is throwing drinks and purses and bags and stuff. She should leave.
Start going ham on face, jumping.
Okay, so I thought that was just so funny. First of all, her line,
Mia is throwing drinks and purses and bags and stuff. She should leave.
Again, it's providing weight to the other side of the argument. I do believe this episode, now that Candiace has entered the chat, we are going to see a little bit more of it getting, more evenly weight distributed, having two sides of the argument, like pro Mia, whatever, pro Wendy sides. But I do think that production sort of skewing it one way last week got everyone, really up in arms about this situation and how it was handled, when really what they were doing was waiting for Candiace maybe to enter the chat to really take up for Wendy and be sort of the leader on that side, if that makes sense. I can only imagine what it would have been like if Candiace had been at that dinner table sitting and seeing that whole situation. Aren't you guys so sad that she wasn't there? I would have really, really loved to see how that went down. And then what they do after the flashback to, Robyn sitting on the couch with Candiace, they go back to Candiace where she's still putting on her makeup, and then she says that funny line,
start going ham on face, jumping.
And then they're out. Again, it has that sort of light, like silly feel, introducing Candiace to this situation. Again, she came in the door thinking like, this is the time we're gonna be taking shots, but she walked into sort of a huge, storm of drama. She's just sort of like doing her makeup, having flashbacks to what went down with her and Robyn, how she figured out the situation. And it's sort of giving us a feeling of like, wow, Candiace hasn't even been with all the ladies since this situation. She's in her bathroom alone. We are going to see what happens when she enters the group dynamic and how we already see that she's feeling like on Wendy's side, and we don't really have anyone fully on Wendy's side at this point. What's gonna happen? That's what the scene is really giving us. I just wanted to cover that little beat in there because they do these types of things in the edit to set up for later scenes. We as viewers might watch it and just be like, okay, great, Candiace was putting on her makeup. But really what it's doing is giving us a feeling of like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen when she actually gets into the group? So that's it, you guys, just a little mini video today. I'm also going to be covering another scene in this episode. I thought it was so great. Again, I wish I could cover all of them. I wish I had a team of editors to help me here. Maybe one day I'll do these live, like we can have like a membership page or something for only the diehards. What do you guys think about something like that? Maybe we could do something like that in the far off future. But for right now, thank you guys so much for watching, subscribing, liking the video, and doing all the things. And until next time.
Look at you! When's